Beloved actually isn't my favorite. Bluest Eye is my favorite. Yes, and the reason why, and that was her first one, and actually the simplest to read, I think, the easiest to read. And the reason why is because I did that book as a book club, and I thought it was really about black girls not loving themselves. And then we got emails and responses from women all over the world. We got Indian women who were darker skinned Indian women who said, I know that story. We got Mexican women, I know that story. Chinese women, I know that story. That is my story. So I love it because it speaks to the core of what I believe, that without your own identity, without knowing who you are, you literally go insane. That there is no life without knowing who you are.
One of the really interesting things your book club has done is to revive the classics. Leo Tolstoy,
yes.
Marquez.
Yes.
I read somewhere that 800,000 extra copies had to be published of Anna Karenina because you recommended it.
Yes.
Why the classics?
Well, it was becoming more and more difficult for me because I was choosing all the books myself, and because people thought I had a whole team of people doing it. It was just me. You know, I would run into somebody who said, oh, I just read this book, Shantaram, as it happened to me in South Africa, and they said, you should read this book. That's how I would find books, the same way everybody else finds books. And when I was, you know, it got to be difficult sometimes to keep track of what was coming out and who was doing the book, because I was reading books just not for myself anymore. I was reading a book thinking, will a million other people, at least I need a million other people. I know a million's nothing here in this country. You can get a million people following you to the store in this country. In the United States, that's a lot of people, a million people. Here, oh, it's a restaurant. It's true. But so I would read the books and read the books, no longer read the books just for what I like, but I would think, gee, do I think at least a million other people will like this book? And so it got to be an issue for me trying to find new books that I thought would be great material, and doing that every month. And so I knew I could depend on the classics. And I'd never read Anna Karenina. And so I thought, life is better when you share it. Much better if you have a bunch of other people reading along with you. And I was always intimidated by the Russian authors. And I broke my intimidation with using other people, bringing the whole world along.
Now you had a couple of controversies with the book club. James Frey, whom you demolished on live television for making up bits of his book.
Is the word demolished?
I think it is.
Okay.
Didn't you?
Well, you know what I would have to say about that. You know what she's talking about? Yeah. James Frey. I would have to say, did you see the show that I did with him, the second show?
I did. When you called him back?
When I called him back.
Yeah.
That was a big lesson for me, because when everybody said that I demolished him or that I took him to the whipping post and I did all of that, I couldn't see it. I literally could not see that that is what I had done. This is the author who would come on the show for a million little pieces, and I was so into that book and was so excited to have him on, and was defending him when people said it's impossible for somebody to go to the dentist and get their teeth pulled with no innocent. I go, no, he did it, he really did it. So I was very disappointed when I found out that parts of the book were not true, and very defensive on the air.